Have you ever looked at someone successful and wondered, how did they get there? Most people see the finish line. They see the healthy body, the successful business, the confident speaker, the person who speaks English fluently. But they don't see the thousands of small steps that came before. We often believe that big results come from big actions. We wait for the perfect plan, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect moment to begin. But life rarely works that way. A house is built one brick at a time. A book is written one page at a time. A garden grows one day at a time. And a better life is built the very same way, not through one giant step, but through many small ones. Think about a child learning to walk. No child stands up and walks perfectly on the first day. They fall. They stand up again. They take one small step, then another. No one laughs at them for moving slowly, because everyone understands that small steps are part of learning. Strangely, when we become adults, we forget this simple truth. We expect fast results. If we don't see progress quickly, we become disappointed. Sometimes we stop before real progress even begins. The problem is not that small steps don't work. The problem is that they work so quietly that we often don't notice them. Until one day we look back and realize how far we have come. In this video, we'll explore 5 simple principles that can change the way you think about growth, success, and everyday progress. Each principle is supported by short, real-life examples that are easy to understand and easy to remember. By the end of this lesson, I hope you'll stop waiting for the perfect moment and start believing in the power of your very next small step. Let's begin. Principle 1. Small steps beat big plans. Many people love making big plans. They buy a new notebook. They write down exciting goals. This year, I'll exercise every day. I'll read 50 books. I'll become fluent in English. At that moment, everything feels possible. But after a few days, something changes. Life becomes busy. Work takes more time. Energy becomes low. The big plan slowly disappears. Why does this happen? Because the plan was bigger than the habit. A goal can inspire you, but only a habit can carry you through ordinary days. That's why small steps matter. A small step is easy to start, easy to repeat, and much easier to keep. Imagine someone who wants to read more books. He buys 5 new books in one day. He feels excited. On the first night, he reads 40 pages. The second night, he feels tired. The third night, he says, "I'll read tomorrow." A week later, the books are still on the shelf. Now imagine another person. She has only 1 book. Before going to bed, she reads just 5 pages. 5 pages don't seem important, but she reads them every night. After 1 month, she finishes her first book. After 6 months, reading becomes part of her daily routine. She no longer asks herself, "Should I read tonight?" She simply opens the book. The habit has become natural. Here's another example. A man decides to get healthier. At first, he wants to spend 2 hours at the gym every day. After 3 days, he feels exhausted. He gives up. His goal was good, but it was too big for where he was starting. Another man makes a different choice. Every evening after dinner, he walks for 15 minutes. Sometimes he walks alone, sometimes with his wife, sometimes while listening to music. 15 minutes doesn't seem like much, but he keeps doing it. Weeks later, he notices he has more energy. A few months later, walking is no longer something he has to remember. It is simply part of his life. This is how real change usually happens. Not through one big decision, but through one small action repeated again and again. Never underestimate a step just because it is small. Every large tree was once a tiny seed. Every skilled musician once played a single note. Every confident speaker once spoke their first sentence. Success doesn't ask you to make a giant leap today. It simply asks you to take the next step. So don't ask yourself, what's the biggest thing I can do? Ask yourself, what's the smallest step I can repeat tomorrow and the day after that? Because a small step you repeat for 1 year will always take you farther than a big plan you never begin. Principle 2. Slow progress is still progress. We live in a world that loves fast results, fast internet, fast delivery, fast success. Because of this, many people expect their goals to happen quickly too. When they don't see results after a few days or weeks, they begin to doubt themselves. They think, maybe this isn't working. But many of the best things in life grow slowly. A tree doesn't become tall in one season. A friendship doesn't become strong after one conversation. Learning a skill takes time. So does changing your life. The problem is not that progress is slow. The problem is that we often stop before progress becomes visible. Let's look at a simple example. James wanted to learn to cook. On his first day, he burned the eggs. The next day, the soup was too salty. A few days later, he almost gave up. He laughed and said, "Maybe I'm just not good at cooking." His grandmother smiled. "No one is born knowing how to cook." "So what should I do?" James asked. She gave him a simple answer. Cook one meal every day. Nothing more. James followed her advice. Some meals were good, some were not, but every meal taught him something. After a few months, cooking became easier. A year later, he was preparing dinner for his family every Sunday. He didn't improve because he was talented. He improved because he didn't stop. Here's another example. A woman named Linda wanted to save money. At the end of every month, she looked at her bank account and felt discouraged. The amount seemed too small. She thought, "What's the point?" But instead of quitting, she kept saving a little each week. 1 year later, she looked again. This time, the number surprised her. It wasn't a fortune, but it was enough to pay for a course that helped her find a better job. The money didn't grow in 1 week. It grew one small deposit at a time. This is how progress often works. It is almost invisible while you are living it. But when you look back, you realize how much has changed. So don't measure your progress by 1 day or 1 week. Look at where you were 6 months ago. Look at what you know today that you didn't know before. Every small improvement matters, even if no one else can see it yet. So don't ask, why am I not successful already? Ask, am I moving in the right direction? Because moving slowly toward your goal is always better than standing still while waiting for perfect results. Principle 3. Small choices become strong habits. Every day you make hundreds of small choices. Most of them seem unimportant. You choose when to wake up. You choose what to eat. You choose whether to read a book or watch another video. One choice doesn't seem powerful, but repeated every day, that choice becomes a habit. And habits quietly shape your life. Many people think their future will change because of one big decision. In reality, it often changes because of many small decisions. Let's look at a simple example. Emma wanted to improve her English. She downloaded many learning apps. She bought 2 grammar books. She watched motivational videos. But every evening she said, "I'll start tomorrow." Tomorrow became next week. Next week became next month. Finally, she changed one small thing. She decided to study for 15 minutes after dinner every day. She didn't worry about finishing a whole lesson. She only focused on those 15 minutes. Sometimes she learned new words. Sometimes she listened to a short story. Sometimes she reviewed old lessons. She didn't try to do everything. She simply showed up every day. After 6 months, her English was much better. Not because she studied for many hours, because she built one simple habit. Here's another example. Mark wanted to spend less time on his phone. At first, he tried to stop using it completely. It lasted only 2 days. Then he made a smaller change. Every evening at 9 o'clock, he placed his phone on a table across the room. Instead of scrolling, he read a few pages of a book before going to sleep. At first, it felt strange. A week later, it felt easier. A month later, reading became part of his nightly routine. He slept better. He felt calmer. And without noticing, he spent much less time on his phone. Neither Emma nor Mark changed their lives in one day. They changed one small daily choice. Then they repeated it until it became natural. That is how strong habits are built. Not through motivation, not through luck, but through simple actions repeated again and again. So don't ask, how can I change my whole life? Ask, what small choice can I repeat every day? Because your future is not created by one big decision. It is created by the small choices you make, even when no one is watching. Principle 4. Consistency is stronger than motivation. Many people wait until they feel motivated. They say, I'll start on Monday. I'll start next month. I'll start when I have more energy. The problem is that motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel excited. Some days you don't. If you only take action when you feel motivated, your progress will always stop and start. Consistency is different. It doesn't depend on your feelings. It depends on your decision. You simply keep going, even on ordinary days. Let's look at a simple example. Daniel wanted to become a better writer. In the beginning, he only wrote when he felt inspired. Some weeks he wrote every day. Other weeks, he didn't write at all. Months passed, but he made very little progress. One day, he changed his approach. He made one simple rule. I will write for 20 minutes every morning. Some mornings the words came easily. Some mornings they didn't. On difficult days, he still sat down and wrote, even if the writing wasn't perfect. After 6 months, he looked back. He had written more than he had in the previous 2 years. Not because he found more inspiration, because he became consistent. Here's another example. Olivia wanted to learn the guitar. At first, she practiced only when she felt excited. Then she stopped for several days. Each time she returned, she felt like she was starting again. Later, she made a small change. She practiced for 10 minutes every evening after dinner. 10 minutes wasn't difficult. It fit naturally into her day. Sometimes she learned a new song. Sometimes she only practiced simple chords. But she never skipped the habit for long. A few months later, her friends noticed how much she had improved. They asked, "How did you learn so quickly?" Olivia smiled. It wasn't quick. I just didn't stop. That's the power of consistency. Small actions become powerful when you repeat them again and again. You don't have to feel excited every day. You only have to keep showing up. So don't ask, do I feel motivated today? Ask, can I keep the promise I made to myself today? Because motivation may help you begin, but consistency is what helps you finish. Principle 5. Small steps. Change who you become. Most people think small steps change their results. That's true. But they change something even more important. They change you. At first, you read 1 page. Then you become a reader. At first, you walk for 15 minutes. Then you become someone who exercises regularly. At first, you practice English for 10 minutes. Then you become someone who enjoys learning every day. The biggest change is not what you do. The biggest change is who you become while doing it. Let's look at a simple example. Ben wanted to wake up earlier. He had tried many times before. Every Monday, he set his alarm for 6 o'clock. Every Tuesday, he pressed the snooze button. By Wednesday, he was waking up late again. One evening, he decided to make one small change. Instead of waking up 1 hour earlier, he moved his alarm back by just 10 minutes. It didn't feel difficult. A week later, he moved it back another 10 minutes. After 2 months, Ben was waking up almost an hour earlier than before. But the biggest surprise wasn't the extra time. He noticed something else. He felt more organized. He arrived at work calmly. He stopped rushing through his mornings. One small change had slowly changed the way he lived. Here's another example. Sarah wanted to become a kinder person. She didn't try to change everything at once. Instead, she made one simple promise. Every day she would do one kind thing for someone else. Some days she helped a coworker. Some days she called her grandmother. Some days she simply thanked a bus driver. None of these actions were big. Many people never noticed them. But Sarah noticed something. Being kind became easier. It stopped feeling like something she had to remember. It became part of who she was. This is why small steps matter. They don't only improve your skills, they shape your character. They change the way you think, the way you act, and the way you see yourself. So don't ask, when will my life change? Ask, who am I becoming through the choices I make today? Because every small step leaves a mark, not only on your future, but on the person you are becoming every single day. And in the end, that may be the biggest change of all. Today, we've talked about many small steps. Reading one more page, learning one more word, taking one more walk, keeping one more promise to yourself. None of these actions seem life-changing, but together, they can change your life. You don't need to become a different person tomorrow. You don't need to solve every problem this week. You don't need the perfect plan before you begin. Just take the next step. Then take another one tomorrow. Remember, the people you admire didn't reach their goals in one day. They simply refused to stop. Some days they moved quickly. Some days they moved slowly. But they kept moving. And that's what made the difference. Maybe your next step is very small. Maybe it's reading for 10 minutes. Maybe it's practicing English after dinner. Maybe it's taking a short walk instead of staying on the couch. Whatever it is, don't ignore it because it seems too small. Small actions become powerful when you repeat them with patience. Now I'd love to hear from you. What is one small step you will take today? Share your answer in the comments. Your small step might encourage someone else to begin their journey. If this lesson helped you improve your English, please like this video. If it gave you a new idea, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you'd like to learn more English through meaningful stories, please subscribe to the channel. Every video is made to help you learn natural English. At the same time, you'll discover simple ideas you can use in your everyday life. Thank you for spending your time with us today. Take your first step. Keep going. Trust the process. And remember, a better life is not built by one big moment. It is built by the small steps you choose every single day.